Hello, everybody. I'm Mike,
And I'm Maria.
and this is
And this
TalkAlley.
is TalkAlley. Hello, everyone. Happy
Hello,
Sunday.
happy Sunday. For some of you people, it might be still a bit sunny or it's coming and going, but yesterday evening we had quite a blast in the northern part of Germany with some strong wind gusts that were blowing away some tarps.
Yeah, there were.
Yes, some, but the long haul traffic for the trains were stopped
Yeah.
for precaution, which is good. Yeah,
Wow, that's a lot of. Was it raining?
it was
Only wind.
Yeah, wind.
A
Yes,
strong gust of
yes,
wind. That's good because we don't want the flood that happened last year, right? Late last year. Was it late last year?
that was somewhere in the middle of late last year.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
there was flooding here in Germany. We don't want that again to happen.
yes,
There's so many lives lost, and we're so sorry for the families who lost their friends and loved ones in
yes,
that
and
flooding.
they are still building up, and it will probably take still years to build that. But all and a lot of power to them, so they will keep up.
Yeah, but back home in the Philippines, we also had a storm recently, right? Odette.
Odette, yes.
And also the people there are um, trying to start again with their lives with the help of our kababayans abroad as well who donated, and we are very thankful for their kind.
Yes, the Filipinos are no strangers to typhoons, the
Yeah.
rebuilding stuff. But
Exactly.
what's so special about the Filipinos that they always keep up, like, cannot say the good mood, but they are looking forward.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, of course, and it's not only the Filipinos. The government also has to be responsible to give aid and to do what is right during typhoons and
yes,
not use their political agenda in order to help other people.
yes. So for the listeners and viewers who might have were affected during the storm from yesterday evening, you can write your experience, how you felt these strong gusts, especially in the northern parts.
Yeah, and if you are affected by it,
Yes.
directly affected by the storm, you'd like to hear about it. So, Mike, what else? How's the COVID situation here in Germany?
Yeah, the COVID situation is still rising. Every day we have a new high, currently by 1,200 something. Let's just stop counting on this one. 1,200 per 100,000 population. Yes, so it's really high, but the government is trying to contain it. And more testing. Also, the testing capacities are on their maximum. So we have a lot of cases that are undetected and not counted. Or we have even more cases than it's written in numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
So back home in the Philippines, I've read that they ease the quarantine options for people coming back home.
Yep.
As long as you're boosted, you no longer have to have that. How many days quarantine? I think 14 or
Around
7
14. Yes.
7 to 14 days quarantine. So you are not obliged to do the quarantine anymore if you're fully vaccinated or boosted. So you only have to go straight to your area of designation. I think your province or city, wherever you live, and then you can just do home quarantine for a few days, I think, and then get your PCR test. And if you're negative, then you're free to go. So that's very convenient for those people who are planning. I've seen many posts that like after 2 years you can finally go home.
Yes.
Because that will cost a lot of money for OFWs, staying in the hotel, and you have to pay for your own accommodation because we've heard and read, reactions from some OFWs about the places that they are usually sent, the hotels are usually sent, and so they're not very happy about it.
Yeah. So when you're planning already your trip to the Philippines, you have to like set aside some certain amount for staying in the hotel, and have your tests made. So if you go to Iloilo, maybe you consider flying via some other country to go directly to Iloilo, for example. Yeah.
Yes, and then stop by in Metro Manila,
Yes.
so you can just be quarantined if ever. But since it was lifted already, they don't have to be quarantined in hotel.
Mhm.
They just go straight home and get picked up with their barangay. They have to coordinate with the local government team. So that's a happy news for everyone.
Yep.
Especially the oh my god, I just think my spit just flew away.
That happens.
Because I was just talking to Chef Den of Pinoy Fried Hot Dog, and that made me hungry.
Yes.
So,
The juicy hot dog, right? We had that
Yes.
featured in one of our episodes.
yes, in one of our episodes, and I told him that next week we will be trying it out. If we are able to get hold of the hot dog, we will try it out live here on TalkAlley, so you will see a reaction. What what we think about the Pinoy Pride hot dog. So we're going to finally try it ourselves live.
Yes, but this will be for the next episode. We are going to have a special guest for today. But before that, Maria, this episode is supported by amazing pure organic barley, which provides you with stamina and vigor to survive long hours of work and play. For inquiries, please contact Miss Jess Esquilio. You may also email her at jess@esquilio.de for more information.
I am Maritoni Fernandez, and we are in the middle of a barley field here in Swan Hill, Australia.
Well, we think we have the best barley in the world because of our clean irrigation water. Water comes from the Murray River, which is a freshwater river. All our drinking water comes from the Murray River too. So it's full of nutrients, and also the climate is perfect for growing winter cereals. Clean, green, certified organic.
Yeah, we're certified with NASA, which is one of the Australian certifications for organic. IAM Worldwide gets its barley grass powders from Herbal, which sources them from us at Nutrigreen, so you're guaranteed the best barley grass powders in the world.
I am truly proud to say that we are now the sole distributor in the Philippines for Nutrigreen barley.
Amazing pure organic barley. For more information, please contact Miss Jess Esquilio. You may also contact her via jess@esquilio.de. So, Maria, now to our guest for today. He is a Filipino-Sri Lankan physiotherapist based in Bonifacio Global City, Taguig. He finished his bachelor's degree at the University of the Philippines, Manila in 2013. He started his career with Physio Asia Therapy Center, a franchise clinic from Singapore specializing in technology-assisted rehabilitation. He went into the fitness industry shortly afterwards and worked his way up to managing F45 training, BGC, so in Baguio, in Bonifacio Global City. Afterwards, and worked his way stopover a franchised Australian gym pioneering in Manila. He also served as the gym's head coach for 6 years. He currently holds a clinic at Cary Sports Manila, Shangri-La at the Fort, focusing on managing sports and musculoskeletal injuries in recreational athletes. That was a hard word for me to read.
Musculoskeletal injuries
Yes.
in recreational athletes.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the founder of Kakayanan Digital Rehab Inc., Mr. Josh Manoharan. Welcome to TalkAlley, Josh.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
You have a hard one there.
Yeah,
You're so good. Yeah. So, Josh,
Hello.
first of all, of course, the very obvious question: how's the COVID situation right now in the country?
I think the word is crazy, because it's so unpredictable. More than anywhere else. I think each country has its own challenges. The Philippines has, we like drama, we like telenovelas. So I think the COVID situation is similar, kind of unpredictable, but everyone's just like you said earlier. I think in the previous chat, like typhoons, these things are not new to the Filipino people. So I think the resilient spirit is always there, and that's what we're holding on to. At these COVID times as well. So we'll be fine, sure.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah. They always say that Filipinos are very resilient. That's the only thing they hold on to. I always hear that, but it's also nice to hear that we are. Sometimes the people would say that we are depending on the government because they're doing the best they can for the people. So I would love to hear that someday. But my before we ask Josh more questions, let's watch this.
Yes, this video is from TEDx, and here we have it.
$4,000. 4,000 pesos is about 80 US dollars, about 58 pounds, and about 67 euros. For some, it's a cost of a fine meal, but for others, it could feed a whole family for a whole month. For everyone in the Philippines, this is the cost of knowing if one has COVID-19 or not. It's a great equalizer. Doesn't discriminate. In every society worldwide and for centuries, a social class system has always existed. In pre-colonial Philippines, there were 3 levels of society. The Maharlika, where the rulers are handpicked from. The Timawa, or the working class. And the Alipin, or slaves. We've always carried with us our social class by the kind of garments that we wear, the ornaments that we carry. There's our social demeanor and many different ways. And people who belong to the same social circles tend to keep their own cliques and just be with each other. In Philippine society today, shadows of this class system has still been evident. Right? And foreigners who visit or move to the Philippines classify the society as the most distinct when it comes to social stratification. Let's say holding a branded cup of coffee, for example, kind of elevates one's social status, right, in the Philippines. A typical Filipino lunch would cost about 70 pesos to 200 pesos if they feel like splurging, at least for a Filipino worker. But to get enough nutrients in one meal, a nutritious lunch would cost about 400 pesos to 1,000, which is a huge percentage of a regular income. Whereas the most accessible is very, very cheap, but it offers little to no nutritional value. And nutrition is very important for our brain and body development. Does this mean that only a certain percentage or segment of society has access to nourishment? The science of movement has evolved through civilization in time, from the time of gladiators and Roman hot baths to lasers and massage guns and sensory deprivation machines. Physical therapists, physiotherapists, and PTs, we've always helped people develop, maintain, and restore people's maximum movement potential so they can perform their roles in society. And every society needs their healthcare workers to survive. However, for developing countries like the Philippines, there's always been a phenomenon that's grappling communities like ours, and that's called brain drain. Brain drain is the migration of healthcare workers into greener pastures. And in the Philippines, it's been institutionalized. And for those who don't even want that life, they face a lot of ridicule and shame for not living to their full potential. But you know, our colleagues who come from affluent backgrounds are spared from this because they go straight to medical school, whereas people who do not come from or inherit generational wealth are expected to bring their whole clan out of poverty, usually by going overseas. Is it always going to be like this? What is a typical career of a Filipino physical therapist before moving overseas? Right after graduation, everyone is funneled into the industry through volunteer work. Now, as altruistic as it sounds, it's not. The healthcare system and the recruitment agencies know that Filipino physical therapists will work for a certificate of employment for free. And so they abuse it, extort the most free labor from these people who just want a better life. And it's always been like that for generations and generations. Now, how do we expect healthcare to be world-class if the needs of people and their basic rights are not even acknowledged or valued? Humans have a hierarchy of needs, and it starts with food and shelter and moves up into safety and a sense of security and then a sense of belongingness, self-esteem, and only then can we live a full life by virtue of this metric. Most Filipinos never make it past the need for food. Healthcare workers, not just physical therapists, are respected but chronically undervalued in Philippine society. The Philippine Institute for Development Studies have published a study that classified Filipino income levels from families who make 219,000 a month are classified as rich minimum. And Filipino families who make 10,000 pesos and below are classified as poor. That is a huge gap between those two endpoints. And in today's digital age, the amount of disposable income that we have dictates the kind of technology that we have access to, the gadgets that we have, the Wi-Fi speed, our cellular data, access to private and open space, private space, and good headphones, etc. How come some countries get it right and we don't? Instead of gloating and envy, I convince myself to be a little bit more constructive and think of strategies that worked for successful countries and tailor fit it to what's suitable to our own. Let's watch this video. Bayanihan is the Filipino spirit. And as you've seen, in the olden days, families who need to move locations would have the whole village lift their whole hut to a new location. And this hut could symbolize not just a house, but any ordeal that a Filipino family is going through, such as children's school fees, placement fees for overseas workers, and hospital bills. Filipino community would unite at a snap of a finger, no questions asked, to help a fellow Filipino in need. This is the core of who we are, and we've forgotten it. You know, alone we can only do so much, but together we can move mountains or houses. And that's when I thought, when I was in isolation, I could have a better impact in society with what I do if I connect with physical therapists like me. And I cannot describe the joy that I felt when I got to know these superb and these star physical therapists in their own communities, lifting their own communities until they're empty, pouring out until they're empty. And so I connected with them, and we thought of a strategy to pour out all together so we don't have to run empty. And this is the birth of our organization. We can now dream of a good life locally. We've decided to offer physical therapy in different tiers to give access to services to the rural mother who's tending to a child with cerebral palsy in the same way as an army general living in a gated subdivision, developing or improving his walking from stroke. We believe that we can bridge financial capabilities to people's maximum movement potential. And that's what we're doing as an organization. And it's refreshing for Filipino physical therapists to think that this could happen. Healthcare is for healthcare workers. Universal healthcare can only be achieved if our healthcare workers are looked after. And healthcare is for everyone. A good life is for all Filipinos, regardless of their socioeconomic demographic. This is our mission. We believe that if we can offer physical therapy for everyone, we already have lived a good life. And a good life is for all Filipinos. The business owner who has to keep his back pain away to keep his business running and provide employment. This team leader who has to keep her mental and physical state on tip-top shape to keep her operations afloat. And to the GP driver who has to avoid every kind of disease, such as heart disease, to keep bringing Filipinos to where they should be. Everyone's needs is equal and valid. We're good people. My fellow Filipinos, we're good people. Colonization and capitalism has faded those values and made us into selfish and greedy people who just are concerned about our own needs and disregarding the bigger picture in the community. That's not who we are. But it's not too late to come home. Uwi na tayo. Come home to our Filipino values. We're heroes. We're all heroes. And only then, when we know who we really are, probably we'll never charge for COVID testing again. And it's only then that we can truly, truly heal as one.
Okay.
Hi. So yeah, that was really interesting. I actually watched it already. So watching it again. So you were discussing about the
May
Filipino.
goosebumps.
Yeah, it was very interesting talk. And in the video, you were discussing about Filipino values and how the country deserves better in terms of healthcare. Because today we're going to clearly focus on healthcare. Yeah, but well, yes, we were colonized, but also one of the ups and downs. But the ups is that Filipinos are, well, like you, is a mixture of a lot of things, of different worlds, different countries, like mixture of German, Filipino. You also have Filipino, have
Sri Lankan.
Sri Lankan, right? So that makes us more beautiful, interesting, because we take more culture with us.
Yes.
And what we should have do is make it better and not the opposite, But anyway, back to back to healthcare. Do you feel that the Filipinos deserve a better healthcare system in the country?
Absolutely. I really, really think we deserve more. Healthcare is, I think, the bare minimum, requirement. It's actually very, very disappointing that we don't have healthcare. We can. I mean, on paper we do. Like there's PhilHealth, right? There's from everyone from the CEO to the rank and file employee, we all pay PhilHealth, regardless of your salaries. But at times of need, the coverage is just not enough, and it's like access to the hospitals. Not all hospitals have PhilHealth, and also, yeah. To be fair, there is healthcare, but it's just not inclusive enough. So definitely we need more. We deserve a lot more. Physical health, mental health as well. That's another thing, especially right now. We're everyone's struggling. So if you can't even get a doctor's consultation for a simple injury, you just have to cash out every time, or use a private health card that you pay on top of your health. We deserve more.
Yes. Also, is online prescription allowed in the Philippines?
Now there actually the law is we don't have law yet. Can you imagine, like, 2 years in the pandemic and we still don't have a law legalizing digital signatures. Still not
Yes.
legal. Signature number one.
Mm.
And consultations, in other countries that's the first thing they did, to legalize
Way before the pandemic,
teleconsult.
we already
Right?
have one prescription
Yeah.
here in the So,
It's still not in the Philippines. It's still not. There's no law for online consultations yet. But
mhm.
everyone's just doing their own thing. To be honest, because we have to move on. We can't wait for a law. People of stroke are still in their house. They have to do something. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Okay. Is this one of the reasons why you founded Kakayanan Digital Rehab?
Kakayanan.
Kakayanan?
We're saying kakayanan.
Yeah, kakayanan for ability.
Wait,
Kakayanan.
kakayanan. I know kaya, to be
Yes,
able to do.
That's-
What is
exactly.
kakayanan?
Kaya is the root word. Kaya means
Ayan,
can.
kaya.
So, kaya mo,
Yeah,
you
you
can.
can do
Kaya
that.
ko, I can. Exactly. So, kakayanan, kakayahan, that's like the bigger word for it, or the noun that describes ability. So, you're able, so kaya ko, like, kaya kong, I can write, kakayahan ko magsulat, something like that. So,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
so thanks. It's an interesting word because I think it encompasses the vision that we offer. Physical therapy is about bringing people to their maximum potential in life. So if you had an injury, it doesn't mean that your life is over. It's our role to teach you. Like, if you cannot use your left arm, then we'll teach you how to use your right arm more, or we can. So life doesn't end with an injury. So that's ability in one sense. And second is, connecting the your financial ability. That we kind of feel like it's a smart way of, you know, choosing a word for our organization. Yes, so that's one of the reasons why, because not everyone can go to a hospital. Like for me, for example, I live in a progressive area, but let's say my field health doesn't cover the hospital here because it's really high, very expensive. So that's it's accessible, but it's not accessible. In the same way, someone in Batangas, for example, needs to who had a stroke, and this is a real case scenario. One guy had a stroke at home, and the hospital is 10 kilometers away, and they don't have a car. What are they gonna do? They're just are they just gonna wait? So for us, we just needed to do something, within our realm of, within our scope. So yeah, we tried.
Okay. Can you tell us a bit more about the company?
Sure. So we started with telerehabilitation, which is it is a small, well, it's a branch of telemedicine or telehealth. So, like you said, we're
Okay. So we prepared some slides here to make it easier.
Yes.
I'd
Okay.
love to talk through.
So why should we choose Celery? You mentioned it already.
Yeah. So telerehabilitation. Let's break down the word. Tele is it started with phones, right? So telephone. Now it also governs mobile or internet. So telehealth or
Mhm.
telemedicine. That's the bigger picture. So when you meet a doctor to consult to ask for a prescription, that's telehealth and telemedicine. So rehabilitation. What is the word rehab? We usually use this in, for example, for those who went to who have, for example, went through alcohol abuse or drug abuse. Right? We have rehab centers for them. The word rehab is enabling them to function again, right? So that's why it's the same word that we use in our field because we enable people who are injured, people who went through injuries, to function again. So that's why we're called rehabilitation medicine. So if you combine those words, telerehabilitation, that's online delivery of physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and even consultation.
Mhm.
So that's the background of that. So why should we choose it? Because definitely there's less distraction. Look, like now we're just focused on each other. Like what in our conversation right now, I'm not hearing any horns. There's no people walking past me. There's no nurses going around, so we can focus. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Second, that's beautiful. And I don't know if you've experienced that in work meetings that were used to be held in person versus online. I find it more productive meeting online because you don't, you save the unimportant chit chat. You don't do that online. You go straight to the point, right? I don't know.
Mhm.
Is that,
Yes. Yeah.
do you think?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that
definitely agree.
that's one. Second would be there's less costs involved because you don't have to travel. These are the things that we. What is the scenario if you need to see a doctor before the pandemic, especially in the Philippines? You have to call or go to a website that doesn't work,
Mhm.
or go to a number that doesn't work. That's the Philippines because we're just so behind many things. And then you go. So what's gonna happen is you'll go to the hospital or the clinic. The secretary is there. The clinic may or may not be open because
Mhm.
and then there might be a bond paper there about schedule. It's just funny looking back. So there's no system, right? Hi, we have someone from Sydney. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so hi, Maribel. Yeah, so that's the Philippine scenario. And then doctor's clinic is maybe from 1 o'clock only up to 5, Tuesday, Thursday. You lose time,
Mhm.
you lose time because you cannot plan. Whereas online, everyone's schedule is just on point. Thursday, 3 o'clock, you can book. That's actually what we anticipated ahead of time that people will just book. That's how we wanted it to be. Of course,
Mhm.
there are issues on that. I can talk about that later. But I think the point is there's less cost because we're just gonna go online. If we're having this interview in person, I'm gonna have to fly to Germany, right? So that's similar.
Yes.
Like I don't have to do that anymore because we can just go straight to the conversation. I don't have to line up. I don't have to queue with 3 people. If I'm just at home waiting for an appointment, I can do my chores. You know,
Mhm.
that's it. And then definitely, it's like I said, it's more comfortable because, like for me, right where I'm staying now, my internet's okay. So I'm comfortable here. If I want to avoid people, I can avoid people because I can just whenever I want, and I'm just in the safe or comfort of my home.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and definitely Philippines comes hand in hand with traffic. I think part of the experience is our beautiful EDSA and C5 roads. If you've experienced that, then you've experienced the whole Philippine, completing the whole Manila experience. And we lose a lot of money. We lose a lot of money in general staying in it for 4 hours. So in telerehab, it's not, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think those are, yeah, definitely, as I mentioned,
The most important
lower
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can avoid, because can you imagine like going to just going to a doctor for a skin rash, for example, and then you might just end up getting COVID in the hospital, but you don't have COVID, but you didn't go there for COVID. So yeah, those are many benefits. And one thing, just going back to the cost thing, one of the things that we've developed in our platform is, regardless of your socioeconomic capacity, we have a service that you can avail of.
Yeah. Less waiting time. Of course, you
Exactly.
mentioned it earlier, yeah. And now,
And
yes, of
that's
course.
that's the pitch.
Now.
Yes,
That's the
I
pitch.
definitely do it. I'm actually, yeah, well, I'm actually going through a therapy also, but I'm much better now. Yeah, because we both work from home and it clearly affected me physically. And so I had a back pain here, in the lower portion of my neck. So the doctor gave me some physical exercises, that specific exercises that I was given a guide to work on every day, like every day.
Yeah.
There's a number of minutes that I should start, and then later on it went longer and longer. What I should do every day
Yes, to evaluate
to
if it gets better or not.
Yes, I this is the thing I advise. Just like the medicine, the drugs that we take,
Yeah.
we should not self-medicate. The same with exercising. There's a therapy. You should always consult the expert,
Yes.
because you might be exercising, but you might be doing an exercise that will make it worse for you. So it's really, for me, you should go to an expert, like what Josh is providing with his company, because I'm better now because of that. Before, just a short movement, and I was really in pain, and now I can move freely. So
Yes.
yeah.
On my part, I'm also working in IT, and I'm sitting almost 8 hours,
8 hours
every day. And if my wife would not call me up to or do some house chores, I would be probably having a lot of pain here in the lower in the lower body region. So yeah, thank you for
I'm his
taking care.
therapist. So this is
True.
very convenient and affordable for me. Like per
Yeah.
session, we showed it. It costs like 300 pesos only.
This is for consultation with the
Consultation,
doctor.
and then later on it varies, right? Depending on the issues that you have, probably.
Yeah.
So because before we go further, let's take a break
Yes.
for our sponsor.
Yes.
So here goes.
Yes, for our sponsors, also when you are the doctor for
our sponsors, literally,
yes,
multitasking.
for internationals, you would probably like to also learn a different language, right?
Yes.
And so we have one sponsor who can help you out with this. Let's check it out. Yes, that is Multitaskers Languages. They teach German and other European languages like Spanish, Italian, and they have courses for adults, kids, and teens. You can either get one group session for one individual, or and the sessions are free of charge. All the above listed courses are also available as individual tuition. If you're interested, please contact info@multi-taskers.de or via WhatsApp the German pre-dial +49 1520 958 2603. It's really a must to visit this page and check out what
And
they
of
have in store
course,
for you.
yeah, and of course, if they are interested, Mike, they can check the info on our page. Yes. So going back to Josh, yeah. But of course, we are luckier here in Europe that could you remove them?
Yep.
So let's talk to Josh now. And hello to Marie Josephine Schuster from Bleichenbach, Germany. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Marie.
Yeah, but here in Germany, we're just lucky that these things are covered by our insurances, right? Like when I went to my doctor, I didn't have to pay anything. But of course, we pay our insurance, but it's covered.
Yes.
So
this is from the government that will be deducted from your salary, and then if you need to go to the doctor, just make an appointment, and they will find you a way to meet your doctor.
Yeah, well, in the Philippines, are there insurance companies also that cover your services, like PhilHealth? You accept PhilHealth? What are the insurance company that people should take note of?
Okay, yeah, so there's a lot. Like there's a lot of HMOs. I don't know how you call it there, but in here we call it HMOs. Yes, they cover physical therapy. However, because of the limitation, like I said, there's no law yet for tele. The teleconsultations are, I don't know when it's gonna be covered. At least the physical therapy side. So that we'll just wait then and be resilient until then. But however, I think there are some HMOs that are more flexible. That we, although we're not yet, because to get an accreditation for an HMO in the Philippines, you need to have a physical facility. You need to have certain machines, which for us, since we're a telehealth primarily, we don't have a clinic yet. So that's gonna be, for now, that's a challenge for us. But that's why we kept it at different price ranges so that, whatever you can afford for now, you can still get a service that matches your budget, because we all know everyone's, to some degree, we're all, being tight about, or be careful with our spending, because there's so many things going on and so unpredictable. So there are some, I think doctors' consultations are already covered for, like, the good health cards definitely are MaxiCare. That's really good. I don't know if I can say names, but can I? Yeah, they're good. MaxiCare is really good. IntelliCare, those are the big names here. Blue Cross, Pacific Cross, those are really, good in terms of coverage.
Oh, okay, that's good. So now that you mentioned them, the Filipinos will be watching after the show, because some of the OFWs watch after the show is finished because they have work right now. So so now they have options on what insurances to take.
Yes.
So,
what services do you offer, and for what?
So physical therapy. So physical therapy is the science of movement. So any issues with movement, we can handle. And in any case or any stage of life, whether a child who, for example, was born with Down syndrome or cerebral palsy. So for those who are not familiar, Down syndrome is a condition wherein a child is born with a lacking in chromosome. So they have certain features, and in terms of movement, they get delayed. So like for example, children who walk, typically developing children who already walk at 1 year old, right? But if you have Down syndrome, for example, your muscles are very soft. So it's going to take a while for you to even roll. You're gonna be delayed, and they need physical therapy for sure. Another condition for children, for example, is cerebral palsy. This is when the mothers, for example, when the umbilical cord, for example, just gets coiled, and the brain doesn't get enough blood supply or lacks oxygen while childbirth or giving childbirth. That's one possibility. the brain, the part of the brain that controls movement or that controls your muscle tone gets affected. So you end up, having really tight muscles. So that's one condition as well that needs physical therapy. So that's for the children. Let's go to adolescents, for example. For females, let's say when females start to develop their bodies, they see changes in their bodies, like their chests are growing. They get conscious, and so they would usually just kind of hide it and wear a backpack. That's a common phenomenon in adolescent females, and that's leading to adolescent scoliosis. A lot of females have scoliosis. That their spine are bent, in various degrees. We can help with those as well. Sports injuries. That's also things that physios can help with. Like if you're athletic, whether you're an athletic person or not, if you're just starting in the gym, for example, if you after finishing university and you want to start your fitness journey, but you don't know where to start, and then you try to work out, and then your shoulders pop, or you feel pain here, we can help. And then so that's just so many things, like your neck pain, your back pain, we can help. Even the older people who, for example, a lot of people get stroke, because of the lifestyle. Example, in the Philippines, food is not as healthy. Like I mentioned in the video, access to good food is not not great here. So you would just end up eating fatty, salty, and food, and later on in life, you're just gonna have a stroke and you cannot move. We can help with those things again. So yeah, so many things from a child to an older adult.
I was thinking of senior citizens as well, but
Yeah,
they
for
need
sure.
to be tested, yeah. Is
Yeah.
this possible for senior citizens also?
Yeah, so actually, a big chunk of our clientele, even for me, as when you introduced me, you saw that I work mostly in the fitness and wellness side of physiotherapy. When the gyms closed and we got locked down, and I didn't know where to go, um, I had to divert, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna focus on older adults because they're the ones who are staying at home, who cannot move, they cannot go out of the house. Lucky again, this is also there's the socioeconomic factor that there's if you have a yard or a swimming pool, then okay. But what if you don't have if your house
Yes.
is small, right? So I decided to give it a go, and then I had a lot of elderly seeking care through online physical therapy just by going outside their bed, sitting down in their bed, climbing their stairs with their caregivers or their helpers who are helping them in the absence of me. So I think there's such a need for that because like we work hard, we really work hard and chase our goals, and then if at the end of our life we're gonna lie down in bed waiting for our time, that's a very
Mm,
sad
that's true.
scenario. So
Well,
I think we have a big mission here.
yeah. So, Maribel Nugget Ignatius messaged us from Australia. She said, I think your service is great and needed, especially during this pandemic. I might have missed it, but does the government provide some support so that those who don't have much financial means can also access this, or even for PT body education campaigns for, say, staff in the government offices and, of course, others? As I think
Yeah,
you mentioned earlier, there's no law yet to
yeah,
have immediate access for their
yeah,
services. But
yeah.
what do
So
you think of this?
my take on this is if you look at the Philippine you did mention in the first video that you shared. I'm such a history buff. If you start, I'm just not gonna end. So I'm gonna keep it control myself here. Um, Philippines has always been a divided country, even before because we have ako Caviteño, siya Taganaga, di ba? We are tribal. So and that that
Really,
translates. Yeah, it translates to the workplace, because it's like we are just we're just the lobby reception. I don't care if you pay your dues or not. And then the other side is just like that. So that translates to many different layers, and which is why it's so hard to collaborate and to make a system here, because every local government has their own. I have a you have an app for Taguig. I have to go download another app for Quezon City. If I have to go to Baguio, has to have an own app. So it's so challenging to make it inclusive and systematic in that regard. But to answer the question, there are some local governments who are very helpful on this. But this is, for example, Rizal. They're really good. Rizal province. They have community-based rehabilitation programs that are supported by the local government. So, but that really highly depends on how the local government sees the value of physical therapy for those who do not have resources, for this. So, short answer is there are local government units that do, but on a national level, we don't have that kind of.
Oh, okay. So that's really sad because, the national level is placed there for a reason in order to make all the local government units function, They should be all aligned and especially for the healthcare of the citizens. So,
One point I would have to still for services that you offer. How about patients with long COVID?
Hmm.
yeah,
That's our entry point. That became our entry point because
there's
we
a
developed
demand.
the program. Yeah, there
Mhm.
is a demand for this. The thing is, it's another interesting, and you mentioned about us now being in a world that is very open, that now we can talk. I like in my previous work experiences, I got exposed to the Singapore way of thinking, the Australian way of thinking. So my mind is so much expanded. Um,
Mhm.
and it's frustrating for people who have seen better things. And I'm sure the same goes for you if you have roots in the Philippines and you come back here and it's like, why can't we even make a simple thing work here, So I think I got lost with the question. You were what were you asking?
The service for patients having long COVID.
Long COVID. Okay, so what we offered a long COVID recovery program. That's what we wanted to begin with because everyone's still tired. You already recovered, but 3 months you're washing your dishes and you're still tired. That's long COVID, right? So we
Yes.
developed a program. The thing is, there was no push from. It's hard to engage the doctors to make long COVID a thing or to prescribe long COVID. And
Mm.
how does healthcare work here? You need a prescription from a doctor. So
Mm.
we need to go through that barrier to get through the doctors first, get them to understand us, but they're too busy with COVID in itself. So to prescribe long COVID management, that's another thing.
Mhm.
So we keep trying. There are some patients who have gone to us to 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 get long COVID treatment. We call this program Amihan program. Amihan
Mhm.
is a Filipino goddess, like that's a mythology in mythology, and it's also one of our, if I'm not mistaken, it's the northeast monsoon. So
Yeah. Goddess of
yeah,
the
so it's
wind.
kind of yes, yes. So it's kind of related to breathing. So we're really, we think we're so smart using it. But
Really.
yeah, I hope people avail of long COVID treatment because
Mm.
it's so important to get guidance. But look,
Yes.
if you have again, this is where if it's covered by if they have to pay again for this on top of their COVID testing and all that, that's gonna be really strenuous for them. So that we understand the challenge.
So
Yes.
there's also a question here. Do you like? I think what she meant is, do you only specialize physical therapy? Do you also have services for mental health
So
problems?
in our field, our where we're restricted to physical therapy because that's what we're trained for. Although we can refer them, what we do is we refer them to mental health services if that's what they're looking for. But we just see that in the physical realm itself, there's a lot more work to do. So we want to
Right.
focus on this first, and then eventually maybe
You can branch out into another digital,
yeah,
app. Yeah, to help
yeah,
those who are actually, there's more people who need mental, because there are
true.
people who need to be aided with their mental health issues. So it's
That's
also
true.
one of the top health problems right
Yeah,
now,
because
especially
of
during the pandemic.
remote working, you're isolated maybe as a single person, and you cannot see your colleagues and peers. This is
Yeah,
really,
especially
yeah,
for
depressing.
OFWs.
Yeah.
They really need that because they're alone all the time. I always reach out to my friends here. I'm like also a therapist for them. Always make sure to reach out to them because I know that they're alone.
Mhm.
So and you here in the country, so I make sure to reach out and say
Yep.
hello and invite them over. So I think yeah, that's one of the things that you should consider doing in the future,
Ye-
Josh.
Yes, and
Definitely.
that reminds me of the hashtag "Leave No One Behind." Remember when in the height of the pandemic,
Yeah.
2020,
Oh
springtime,
yeah, yeah.
"Leave No One Behind." This was a
Yes.
hashtag, so you can check up onto your friends. Yeah.
Yes.
There's one info I wanted to give still for the long COVID. Here in Germany, 500,000 patients are suffering from long COVID or the post-COVID effects. Yeah, which is fatigue. You have shortness of breath. Some suffering a lack of concentration. The heart is racing. You have joint pains, and those are the symptoms. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're always tired. So
Yes.
they need. I think they also need therapy for that because the body weakens
Mm.
and they can barely
Definitely.
stand up. So they need that support as well.
Yes.
That's
So
true.
yeah, if I ask you now an example, what would you recommend if I am experiencing pain on my lower back, like here? Let's
Hmm.
say you were doing a
Consultation.
consultation.
A therapy therapy session. So
Yeah.
the thing is we need to know the factors, right? So like for example, your neck pain will be different from my neck pain because like
Yes.
for example, your mic is tilted to your right side, so you might so we need to factor those things in. Assessment is very important, right? Now I can see that your monitor is also tilted to your right side right now, so
Mm.
probably your right side is a little tighter. So
Mhm.
that, and then Mike, for
Right.
example, might have a lot of the other side because if you can see now
Hey.
the placement of your workstation, it's gonna be like that. So I think that's the beauty of like this is like a quick consultation because I can see you in your environment right now and I can see your factors, right? So um
Yeah.
yeah, so that's magic. And for example, posture is very important as well. If you stay in a prolonged position, let's say if you're hunched over, then what's gonna happen is your neck is gonna go forward.
Mhm.
And if your neck is gonna go forward, your muscles are gonna get tight here and they're gonna get weak here. So the exercises are really corrective in nature. So for example, like shoulder circles, just so you become aware of moving your shoulders backward. That's super easy. And then pulling your head back. That's, a starting point. So it's
You
like a
know,
chin
I
tuck.
have a bright idea. But I'm gonna message Josh na lang. Funny that you
Yeah.
mentioned it. Anyway, so yeah, I would definitely, because I've experienced it, I would definitely recommend this kind of therapy.
Mhm.
It's very convenient. I don't
Mhm.
have to travel, which I really hate right now because there's COVID. I'm really scared, even if I'm boosted,
Yes.
because it's so there are news that even if you're boosted, you can still be infected.
Yes.
And I'm not scared for myself. I'm always thinking of the family. So
Mm.
this kind of therapy will work for me. It's online. I can speak to the specialist. I can
Yes.
tell them everything that I need to say. I think it's good.
Yes, I also love the thought about this online thing because you don't waste time.
Yes.
Yes, and if you already are injured, you don't have to
I
ask
don't-
someone to drive you, or you have to take the public
True.
transportation. You're already
So true.
injured. Why do I have to go there? So
I
it's
know.
nicer for me, yeah, because this works already.
Yeah.
This works already, and this is the new.
Yes.
Yes, and then seeing someone who is only there for you, yeah, direct, yeah,
One-on-one,
right
I
away.
know one-on-one service is perfect.
Yes.
And you're right, good point. I'm already in pain. Why do I have to travel so
Yes.
far to my doctor?
It's so true.
Yeah, it's like torturing yourself again.
Yes.
This is really perfect, and I hope that in the future more Filipinos will have access to your services. So, with that, we thank you so much for being with us today here on Talk Alley,
Yes,
and we
thank you
hope to
very
have
much,
you in the
Josh.
future again.
Of course.
So,
Very
please invite the people, and of course, greet your family and friends right now.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me at Talk Alley. This was a great conversation, and we would want to invite Filipinos all over the world to talk to us. We're fellow Filipinos as well. This is such a great opportunity to reconnect to your roots. We are as talented, and this, working in other countries, that we have the skills. Filipinos are very talented healthcare workers as well. We're on top of our game. So we would really like to help you out through teleconsultation or telerehabilitation. You can visit www.kakayanan.org. Okay, Kakayanan for ability, and you'll see that website, and then you can go straight to whichever services that you prefer. We've tiered it to whichever budget that you allocate. So my recommendation is there's a Ginto program. Ginto means gold in Tagalog, in Filipino. You'll be that's going to be around 1,500 pesos per consultation, and you'll get to connect with a specialist already. A physical therapist that has worked for a long time already, who's been trained in telerehabilitation and telehealth. That's our flagship program for those who want to see a specialist. And then we also have a PILAC program. PILAC is silver. That is an on-demand program. So, for example, you can also speak to a specialist and consult with a specialist, but you will have a month-long program or a 3-month program that's personalized for you. We will be using an app to track your exercise adherence. You can talk to your therapist weekly for a check-in, like a 10 to 15-minute call, just to see the progress over the next month. And then at the first consultation, we'll do that assessment, briefly what you've done with you guys a while ago. And then at the end of the month, we will reevaluate to see if we've met our goals. But the exercises, you can do it at your own time, So this is perfect with different time zones and, different work schedules. So that's going to cost you about 4,000 pesos per month. So I think it's a really good deal. And then we have our Tanso, our bronze program. That's our standard telehealth offer, which we offer for physical therapy and occupational therapy needs. Also physical therapists are all licensed. The difference is in our Ginto program, those are more seasoned. So in Tanso, it's about 650 pesos versus 1,500. But you can still get, a great healthcare service there. And then lastly, we have our COVID rehab program, which is Amihan, where you're going to be taught breathing exercises. We're going to, we're going to train you to function again. And you can all do these bookings online. It's so very, very easy. Payments online. You can connect to a Filipino physical therapist. If you miss speaking Tagalog, we're here for you. We're going to get you healed. and reconnect and catch up.
Yes, this was also one question for me, because we're here in Germany, so there will be no issues with time differences, right? Because you heard there are 500,000 people here who might need your services, and we will help you to spread the word for this amazing company.
Yes, I'm already thinking of ways of doing that.
That's amazing. We can. I think we have a follow-up conversation, Maria.
Because we are both in the IT industry, so I think I'm thinking already of infusing this in for future collaboration.
Exciting. I'm excited.
Okay, thank you very much, Josh.
Thank you so much, Josh, for taking the time to be with us today, and we learned so much from you, and we hope that you'll be able to inspire others as well and continue doing your kindness throughout the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Josh.
you. Maraming salamat. Thank you,
All the
Sean.
best.
See you again.
Yeah, maraming salamat.
Bye. See you, Josh. So yeah, this is a really great company that Josh has.
I really love it because, of course, I went through therapy myself. I wouldn't understand anything if I didn't go through it, but I did. So yes, I definitely would recommend. And they should try booking a consultation now. It's very affordable. It's only like 300 pesos.
Yes.
How many euros is that?
300 pesos, that's around 5. If you go with 60 pesos for €1, then you have €5
About €5. So they should try book a consultation. And they should not self-medicate or just exercise and lose weight because they think that they need that. But actually, they might need a specific therapy for those for the pain that they're feeling.
Yes, and even if you're going to talk to your health insurance, because they might tell you, look for a therapist in your area. You might can contact them to ask them how much can you shoulder from them, and then sometimes they give you 100% reimbursement for that,
definitely.
which is good
Always
in this
100%.
healthcare system. Yes.
So, and also telecare is also available here in Germany already. So this is, we are already using it.
Yes.
So this will be perfect for everyone.
So
now,
listeners and viewers, I hope you enjoyed our show today also with Josh. For your impressions and comments, we will be happy. And please visit his site.
And of course, we have posted all in the comment section. And we will also post the company and other information for Josh startup company in our page.
Yes.
If you're in other pages.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. We wish you a happy Sunday. We'll be going out to walk a bit in the forest bathing. We have a nice lake nearby and take the kids out. This is what you also should do besides taking your therapy with Josh and his crew.
Yeah, and we're ready to go out now and have a short therapy ourselves.
Yes.
So,
happy Sunday. I'm Mike.
We'll see you, and I'm Maria, and we'll see you again next Sunday with our guest. Just to give you a hint,
yes.
she's
Sneak peek.
a mom and a vlogger, also very popular vlogger. Actually, she has a lot of followers here in Germany, maybe all over the world. So we'll see her next Sunday.
Yes. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, look, the sun came out.